Hello. So this is almost 2 years on from my original video, which is, I almost got 10,000 views now, which is amazing, to be honest with you. I thought I'd come and give you a little bit of an update on things I've been going on since that video, because my life has changed a lot since then. And I'd like to come on here and give you some regrets, give you some thoughts that I have now that I've stepped back away from my time working at Games Workshop and I've been able to just process things, how my life's gone since then and what's going on, and maybe share a few anecdotes that I left out of the original video. If I repeat any, let me know, but I don't think I do. So, enjoy. First things first, when I did the original video back in 2018, is that a really dark place in my life at that time, and it was only going to get worse. The next couple of months after I made that video were even worse. I lived in the middle of England, so somewhere around the middle of England, and then not a very nice place at all. And I had, I had left Games Workshop I think a month or two before, and I'd been living off of basically royalty checks for writing jobs that I'd done. And that was rapidly coming to an end. I'd met someone new, and so I was going to move to London pretty soon. But I was also thinking, is this really what I want? Do I want to go to London? I'm 30 now, 31. I think it was. No, I was 29 at the time. I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do? So moved to London. Ran a few bars, 2 bars in the end. And the bar there closed, and that relationship broke down. And that was my lowest point. Was the bar was closing, and I was like, this is just my luck. This is like the worst luck ever. So this happened 2018. All the way through 2018, this happened. I was like, this is like the worst. The absolute worst. And I decided to come home. I decided to leave everything. I said, screw this. I'm not going to stay in the city anymore. I'm just going to go back home, back up north. I came home, and since then I got another job in a bar, just to make ends meet. And during that time, my lovely wife-to-be got back in contact with me, who we knew each other at university, but hadn't really connected or anything. And lo and behold, my life took off. It's coincidental, like she hasn't come in and just injected me with loads of luck juice, but it's just coincidental that I got into teaching, which is something that I've always wanted to do, in a private sphere first of all, and now studying to be an actual teacher, which is great, which is my career for the rest of my life, which is amazing. If the writing doesn't take off, I mean. So yeah, it's been an impactful couple of years, and I thought I'd just come on here just to share my thoughts. I know the Games Workshop logo is there, so that's going to be our main thoroughfare, our main subject as we talk about stuff. So not going to be too long. It's going to be about 20 minutes, half an hour. It's a little chill-out session, so you can listen to the words of wisdom. Well, I received a lot of emails from people asking about how do I get into Games Workshop? How do I apply? Those videos are on the channel, so please look at the channel first before you email me, because I now have typed out a template email that you will get. If you email me asking how to get into Games Workshop, I will just email that to you and give you links to my videos that explain that step by step. Of the 5 people who actually read those and kept me up to date, 4 of them are now working for Games Workshop, which is superb. Absolutely amazing stuff, and I'm really, really happy for you guys. I think 2 of them now aren't because they ran into the same stuff that I did, and they quickly left. And the other 2 are working in studio, which is great, which is awesome. And I think there was one more guy as well I got a really nice email from. But I'm gonna have to go into my Gmail and get that out. I'm not gonna name names though, but well done to him, because he got in. I think he got in retail, which is great. Yet to hear from him though, so if you know who you are, email me. So, memories. So I, started working at Games Workshop in 2016 and finished in 2018. So, quite a while. And a couple of years there of my life went into Games Workshop. And the thing is that I was actually part of Games Workshop for the biggest, probably 6 months that the company has had ever, essentially, and that was for the release of 8th edition Warhammer 40,000, which, I remember. I was a retail assistant in the store in the Midlands, and I got we got a big delivery on the Tuesday, which is our delivery day. We got a big delivery, and it was all 8th edition, and this was like months before it. Well, a month, like about a month, before it was due out. We got it to test it and go over it and see what was in it, so we knew how to market it to customers and stuff. And our manager, we knew from friends in other stores that they were taking some home, and they were taking home books and stuff and having a read and things. And our manager obviously told us, no, we're not allowed to do that. And then he went away on holiday for a week. Great. So you can guess what happened next. we both took open copies home with us, and studiously studied the rules. We read and read and read and read and read. Took as many photographs as we could. So we could read them on our own time and play our own games with the models that we already had. And then we took them back the next day. So me and the other sales assistant there who were running the store, we were playing, unbeknownst to everybody, whenever we were playing games together in the store, even though we had all of the Games Workshop gear on, we were playing 8th edition, and we were playing it there for about a month before it actually came out. So yeah, like, it was pretty, because we were going to our phones all the time for the rules and stuff, and we were like, yeah. And when people asked, I was like, oh, no, this is just like, we're just having a little fun, like, with some rules that I made up for 7th edition, And we got away with it. And then as soon as it came out, we had to tell the regular customers to not say anything, because they recognised the game that we'd been playing, and it wasn't my own. It was 8th edition. So yeah, that was a pretty cool. That was a pretty cool time. I remember that summer was actually the happiest I was at Games Workshop. So I had just got the job of manager at another store in the Midlands. I just got the job. And I was still working as a sales assistant, and my manager had told me, point blank, you will never be a manager, you're not manager material. He was just one of those guys. And I got it. And the look of... And you know what? I don't often pat myself on the back, but I will here, because... Like, I didn't rub it in his face. I just came downstairs and said, yeah, I got the job. And I got a really nice phone call from the guys at HQ saying, we can't wait to work with you. You're going to be great. We really loved you at the interview. So yeah, you got the job. And I was just like, this is amazing. So I ran down the stairs, because in the store that we were in, the back room wasn't actually at the back. It actually, because we were in a mall or a shopping centre, so it actually, when you opened the back door of the store, it actually went out to this long storage corridor where people would bring stuff into other stores and ours as well. And there was a set of stairs at the end of that hallway where you'd go up, and there'd be like, we'd have keys to a massive storeroom. So in that storeroom was models upon models upon models, and you went up there for your breaks and stuff. And we had our meetings in there. So yeah, I ran down from there and came into the store and from the back way and told my manager. I said, look, I got the job. He put in a request for me to stay there for the release of 8th edition, because he needed me, and I was fine with that. I was a bit perturbed, because I was like, what a better way to have a new store than to have a new edition? You're going to sell so much, and you could get so many new customers. But whatever, it was fine. I stayed there. We had a really good time. And yeah, and this is the thing, right? Now that I'm looking back on it with not sadness and anger, I can honestly say that I wouldn't trade any of my memories working for Games Workshop, ever. It was a wonderful time. Things didn't go well when I was manager, and things fell apart really, really quickly when I had to deal with a lot of the BS that was above me, that was raining down all the time. Like having the store having trade accounts nearby that was selling my stuff 20% off, and then having a big shopping centre with another trade account in it that was selling my stuff at 35% off. and then being blamed when things didn't pick up money wise. It's I've gone into all that in the other video, and I don't want to go into it in this video. Okay, so I want to do cool memories, not so much good memories, but cool memories. So one cool memory I had is that I made friends at one of the training, one of the manager training weekenders that we had in Nottingham. I met a few people from the studio, from the Warhammer studio, and I'd been coming on as a painter at that point. I was getting better, and they invited me. I'd been to the HQ a few times, and they invited me to the next day when things finished. They invited me down to HQ to just go over some, to look at the models and stuff, and look at what they've been painting and get a few tips. So I did. I got a round in, so afterwards we went to Bugman's afterwards, and I got a few whiskies in, and we sat and we talked, and but I learned so much. I learned how to feather weapons and things like that day. So that was super awesome, and I ended up staying on one of the guys' couch, and then I got the train back bleary eyed the next morning, proper hungover, to a rather unimpressed girlfriend, to be honest with you. But it was still an amazing weekend. So. Even though the training days were pretty awful, and brown nosing and really backstabby, it was nice. There are decent people working there. There really are. And whenever I came across one of those people, it was almost like coming on a bit of gold dust. It was like brilliant, and I latched on. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's swap numbers. Let's get together. Let's have some fun. And we always did. I'd always pool with those people. When I had a training manager's workshop or anything like that, I'll try. So, what other cool memories are there? Oh yeah, my first day. I think I covered this in the other video, but the first, when I went to Nottingham the first time, after my interview was at Nottingham, and after I got the job, I went for my first training day, which is basically not really training day. My trainer wanted to introduce me to everybody in the company, essentially. And so I walked down there and I got introduced to pretty much everyone. So I went to the front desk. I had my Games Workshop t-shirt on, my blue one, and I went to the front desk and got in, and eventually we went to Bugman's, and a few of the guys from White Dwarf were there who I recognised, and were like, hey, congratulations, and we sat with them. My trainer said, I've got, you guys better, I'm going to give them the hallowed black the black jumper of a manager, and they were like, oh great. So I got this black t-shirt, and I ran to the toilet and put it on, and came out, straightened my hair, came out, and there was a pint waiting for me there, and it was awesome. So it was really cool that day, and I met literally everybody. I met Rick Priestley, which is really cool, who is the original writer. I don't even know what he was doing there, but because he didn't work there anymore. But that was outside, and he's a pretty cool dude. There's a few others there that I know. I know the faces of. There was one. I did see Matt Ward walking around. Didn't speak to him though. Among other luminaries who were walking around and doing lots of stuff. And of course the White Dwarf team, from the magazine. I've met all of those guys. And a lot of people you hear from behind the scenes that you don't actually know, but if you do any internet searches, you'll know. So I met the head of marketing. I met the CEO. And it was just a really fun day. Really nerve-wracking day. I went to see the Warhammer TV guys. They were really cool. They offered to put me on the Twitch. They were going to do a Twitch thing, I think, when they were going to introduce me. And I think I refused, but they put me on anyway. So if you look through Twitch, you'll see my face at some point. I think I did refuse, and they had it on the background anyway, and I was talking to my trainer behind them. And yeah. And this is the same trainer, by the way, who went acid later on, who went really bad with me later on, and it was just such a shame, because that first day and the first few phone calls with him, I've never been more excited for anything in my life than starting that job. I was ready to go, and the first few training sessions we had were fantastic, but as soon as things started to fall apart, it was basically as soon as my numbers started going down because of our trade accounts opening and things like that. And of course, listen, I'm not the kind of person who doesn't take responsibility. I must have done something wrong. There's nothing. Nothing happens for no reason. As far as I was concerned, I had a lot of really happy customers. I just never had enough. I was trying to get more and more and more people in. And in terms of keeping the store open, we were always running a loss. There were some weeks I was turning over a lot of money, and we were still running a loss because the rent and things like that were going on, and all that sort of stuff. So, and also you're always made to feel like you were the worst store ever, and then you would actually ask for the numbers from another store, and yours was higher than theirs. So it's like, yeah. As soon as those numbers started stagnating, that's when things turned on me a little bit, and then. I'm a very defensive person, so if you turn on me, I always give it back to you double. I'm always like, okay, well, you treat me with respect, you get double. You don't like me, you have a go at me, I'll give you double back. I wasn't the kind of person to kowtow, to cow down and say, oh well, I'll do this, I'll do that. I was just like, no, I'm doing a really good job, And there were people there who definitely understood that and saw that. One of the guys who got the job when he spoke to me on email said that he had a trainer. I'm not going to name his name, but he did have a trainer who I really liked. I wish that guy was my trainer because he came and was with me once or twice. There was another guy as well, a portly lad with a bald head. I know his name, but I'm not going to say it on here. He was also amazing because when I had my own store at Christmas, it was really, really difficult to like make the store Christmassy because there was just so much going on because I was selling and selling and selling all the time, and I'm a one-man store. When I was in the other store, there was two people there at all times, so one could do the Christmas stuff and one could, and I would ring up all the time and try and get answers on, how do I get petty cash? What's the system to get petty cash? So I can go out and get some Christmas decorations, and got no feedback. Eventually, this guy just turned up to my store, and he's one of the guys who works at HQ. As walked in and said, "Oh, you got no Christmas stuff." Oh well, I'll go and get you some Christmas stuff. So he walked out with his own money, got loads of Christmas gear, came back, and we spent the entire day. I was serving people as well. We spent the entire day just Christmasifying the store, and it was great. So that was a really cool day. But on the flip side of that, the one thing I would say about single people stores, it's a really lonely existence. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's really, really lonely. The amount of times where I went into that, I went into that store and I was walking up to open the door, and I was just like, this isn't a. It was a really different feeling when I was working as a store assistant. The social aspect of it was fantastic. Like, I actually made friends there, and I had lots of people that I could talk to, and all the lads and girls there were fantastic with me, and the other retail assistant, me and him became friends, and he was an awesome dude. He was really, really funny. Like, the amount of times we had laughs in the store, and I was literally red-faced, nearly on the floor, laughing, just dying of laughter, was amazing. I remember there was a guy I was playing with, one of the tables. I was playing with a customer, and we got talking, and I can't even remember what we were talking about. I think somebody did an impression of Caldor Drago, and it sounded ridiculous, and we all just started laughing, And we were always watching. Whenever we could, we would always watch Brother Alpha Busa and the Emperor's Got a Text-to-Speech device. We would always watch that. Whenever the manager wasn't around, of course. But like, it was just such a cool, because it was like, because the manager was so hard on everybody, even the customers. He had so many complaints because he was such an arse. But he'd been there for 20 odd years, so there's no way they were going to sack him because it would have cost them too much money. So he'd been there. He's one of the old guard, and he was just a rude, obnoxious person, basically. I was hoping that he would be the counter to the rule, but he wasn't. He was the rule, essentially. But it was almost like we were like the resistance there. So all of the customers and myself and the other retail assistant, we were the good guys. We were the guys who, if you wanted to learn how to paint and you wanted to learn the game and you wanted to have a laugh, then you come to us. If you wanted to be sold something, you'd go to the manager. And we'd sell you stuff as well, but we wouldn't like force it on you. We wouldn't like frog march you around the store and try and dry hump you till you bought something. But that was that. Yeah, and so those are really good memories that I have. I have a really good memory of driving to my interview at Nottingham with this retail assistant, because unfortunately, I don't know why I didn't get it. I think he was just really nervous. But we both went for manager's roles at the same time. Not for the same store, for different stores. And he drove me. Yeah, so I'd moved out of my first place, and I was in my second place now, in the same area, a nicer place. And he picked me up in the morning. I was suited and booted, as was he, and we were driving down there. We were discussing like wrestling and stuff, because we were both really huge wrestling fans. We were discussing like wrestling and having a right laugh and talking about stuff and taking the piss out of the manager and things like that. You know, it was really good. And then we got to Nottingham. We got in there, shook hands, wished him good luck. I went off and had my interview, and mine went really well. And kind of knew I'd got it straight away because I just got along with them so much. And my ideas were like really, because you have to write. By the way, one thing I didn't cover was when you actually are doing the interview, for if you want to manage a store, they make you write a business plan. So you have to write a business plan for the store. And mine was wacky. It was all over the place, but it was like really had loads of passion behind it, and they loved that. And I was like, thank God. It seems like everyone here isn't like my manager. They're like, you know, really cool people. And there are some cool people there, but most of them are not, which I discovered later on. But this lad didn't get the job, unfortunately, that day. He didn't find out that day. Found out much later. But yeah, that was a really cool morning of like driving up there, and then I came back, and the manager left early that day, and I'd finished at like, I think it was like 6, something like that. Because I booked it off. So I came back and I was in work for 3 hours, then I went home. And it was just really, really, really cool. Really, really cool day. And then obviously got the job after that, and it was amazing. And that was the best of both worlds, because once I got the management job, I was still working as a retail assistant. So for a month and a half, I had the light at the end of the tunnel. I flew to work every day. You know what I mean? I was just like, this is great, because I've got no pressure. I'm just going to throw myself into it and help this manager out, because he did teach me a lot, even though he's a bit of a douche. Like, he taught me a lot. So I was like, I'm going to help this manager out. I'm going to, you know, really give it my all, and I'm going to have fun. And then at the end of this month and a half, I've got my own store. It's going to be great. And so anything that the manager did was just I was like Teflon. Nothing could stick to me. Like he would try and, because he would say things to people all the time that would just annoy you, or upset you, or even offend you at times. And it went up straight over my head. I just had such a smile on my face the entire time for that 6 weeks, because not only that, but it was a really exciting time. Like a new edition was coming out, and you know, everyone's getting super excited, planning new armies and stuff, and things were flying off the shelves. You didn't have to sell anybody anything; they were just coming in and getting it because there was a new edition coming out. And I was just so happy to just be there in that moment and have, like, little did I know that, you know, the good times wouldn't last. When I became a manager, you know, I had a good first 5-6 months, and then things just completely collapsed. But the true happiness of that was I had no pressure. You know, I'd go to work every day. I'd work really hard. I'd have so much fun, then I'd come home. You know, and there were literally days I would walk home from that job and I'd be like, how am I getting paid for this? You know, that's how good it can be. And that's what it should be like, as far as I'm concerned. You should have that feeling every single day when you get up and go to work. You should always feel like, oh my god, how the hell am I getting paid for this? This is great. You know? I mean, I love teaching, but even now I don't feel that way. I don't feel like, oh my god, I'm getting paid for this, I enjoy it so much. You know, if I ever got paid for writing, that would become a job, you know, and I have been paid for writing, but like if it ever became a career, you know, it would become sort of like a job, but I'd still enjoy it, I'd still love it. And I think that's the only other job that would measure up to that 6 weeks. Because before then, you know, you're always fearing for your job because he was so trigger happy, this guy. And we were the two lads who stuck with him the most. We'd been there for like a year by the time I left to have my own store. So like we set a new record, and he had a reputation with other managers for being absolutely torrid with his staff, making them cry, making them leave, things like that. So yeah, that was the best 6 weeks, and I think that was May 2017, I want to say. Yeah, May 2017. So yeah, May 2017. So in April, May, June 2017 was like the best time that I had there. It was absolutely amazing. So I was coming up to my 1 year anniversary of working for that guy at Games Workshop when I left. So, what else? What other things can I think of? And this is all off the top of my head, by the way, so if it comes across as a bit of a clusterfuck, you know why. What else? I remember getting the discount at the bar. That was good. That was really cool. You go in there and I remember. Yes. So I don't even know why we did it, but like we drove up to Warhammer World one day. It was me, the other staff member, and 2 other lads, and one of them we ended up living with. We drove to Warhammer World in Nottingham, and yeah, we got a discount at the bar and things like that. And we were supposed to go around all of the shop and things like that. You know, the exhibitions and stuff. We didn't. We got trashed. We were in the bar. We just got absolutely smashed. And it was like a cold. Do you know those weird bars where they're oddly cold? Like you're just sitting there and you're freezing your bollocks off, even though it's indoors. It was like that. I think they're trying to get rid of us. And we left when it closed, to be honest with you. So we staggered outside and went home and yeah, it was just one of those where obviously the guy who was driving wasn't drinking, but like he didn't drink. But yeah, that was a really cool day. Going around all the exhibits for free, that was cool. Getting your own White Dwarf for free every month, that was also cool. You know, being able to talk to the thing that I thought was really weird is that whenever you walked into a Games Workshop store, whenever I realised in my own store that the guy who I'm talking to works for Games Workshop, I would drop the spiel straight away. I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to give you the boilerplate, you know, please buy this. No, I'm not going to do that, you know, because you work for the store. You know the dark art as well as I do. Let's just, you know, drop the pretense and get on with it. And, you know, other people wouldn't do that with me, though. Like, especially in Nottingham. When I was in Nottingham and I was speaking to the guys in the Forge World store or whatever, and they'd say, oh, what do you do? I'd say, oh, I work for Games Workshop. I'm a manager of so-and-so store. And they'd say, oh, right. And they continued trying to sell me things like I was a normal customer. I'm like, mate, no, that's my job too. I know what you're doing. Go away. You know, it's just, that was really weird. Yeah, other people just wouldn't come out of the, that zone. What else was weird when I was there? Oh, good. I love Nottingham. I like the city. It's a really, really, really nice city. To walk around and just, you know, have fun in. I like the canals, you know, and I imagine it's an amazing city for summer as well. One thing I will say is that, like, I remember, and this is also a sad memory, but like, I remember the last day I was there, one of my last days as a employee of Games Workshop, and that was, I went for the interview to get my store on a more permanent basis, because I was meant to be there for like a year, 2 years. No, it wasn't. What was it now? It wasn't temporary, it was full-time, but somebody had left and I jumped into the role, basically. And they said they were going to revisit it after, you know, a year or so. I can't remember. Anyway, so they did revisit it, and they said, yeah, we've got to let other people apply for the role and stuff. And I said, okay, fair enough. But as soon as they said that, I sort of knew I was a goner. I sort of knew I wasn't going to stay there anymore. And I knew I didn't actually want the job, so when I went to the interview, I did it through just out of a courtesy, sorry. And I came out of the interview. They were really short with me in the interview. Like, they just didn't want me there. But I knew from that point on, I was basically no longer working at Games Workshop. You know, I was there for another couple of weeks, but I knew I was done, and I just didn't want to be there anymore anyway. So I went to the bar. I sat down with my girlfriend at the time, and we had a pint. And then I said, let's go walk around the exhibition. Yeah, because I know for a fact I did not get that, you know, so while we can, let's go walk around there for free and, you know, do all that. So we did. Walked around there. I remember walking outside, and I was just like, you know, it was raining, and we were trying to get a taxi to get the train, because it was one of the last, yeah, because it wasn't the last train, but like, you know, we would have got back super late if we didn't get that train. and we just about made it, and I said goodbye to her on the platform, sat on the train, and I was actually on my way back to where I lived, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go home, play Dragon Age, and see where this goes, see where life takes me now, you know? Obviously I'm not working with this company anymore. I just had I bought some models, like, for 50% off from the, you know, from Forge World, 25% off, sorry, from Forge World. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go home, build these, you know, chill out. I did, and unfortunately, once I'd left the company, I just really fell out of love with the hobby. I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore. It hurt me. It actually hurt me a lot more than I let on. Even in the original video that I did, it hurt me a lot more than that than I let on. It really did. Because this is your heroes. You know what I mean? These are the people who you look up to. These are the people who you've always wanted to work with. And when you're let down to that extent, it's a really damaging thing. It's totally a damaging thing, especially when. There were lots of times where I went to them when I was working there, and I said, "Look, I'm struggling because I do have depression, you know." And it's not one of these, "Oh yeah, everyone's got that." It's not one of those. It's high functioning, right? So I can actually do stuff while I'm depressed, while I'm literally I can't. I don't feel like I can function, but I can go on autopilot and do it, and I wouldn't get any help there whatsoever. In fact, I got the express feeling that they thought I was faking it, you know, so it was one of those, yeah, but, you know, it really did tear things up for me, so I didn't really want to be there anymore, didn't really want to do it anymore, I didn't want to even look at a model, and I didn't for a long time, you know, for basically the only time I've actually got back into doing stuff has been the last couple of months, you know, that's how long it's taken me, and my life has gone from strength to strength since. You know, definite setbacks, coronavirus being one of them. I should be in the United States right now, and I'm not, which sucks. But I know I will be, so it's not that much of a big deal. But also, you know, you're looking at everything else, looking back. Yeah, my life was going great guns, and I still wasn't getting back into Games Workshop. I still couldn't bring myself to pick up a model and start painting. Because it just broke me, you know. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. You know, I had friends who drifted away from me because we had nothing to talk about anymore. Because they would say, "Yeah, what about this? What about that? You know, this thing's coming out. That thing's coming out." Didn't want to know. I didn't want to know. No, I just didn't want to know. One of my friends that you see on, I remember. Oh, another memory. I remember calling one of my friends that you see on the role-playing campaign we got going on, and he paints models for a living. He paints Games Workshop models for a living. Works for Siege Studios, and I was speaking to him about you know the interview and things like that, and you know when it didn't go very well, and I was leaving, and he was I think he was just like at the time, yeah, well it just sounds like you know you're done, and he didn't say he said I don't mean it like in a you fucked up way. I mean it in like a you just mentally sound done. You just sound like you don't want to be there anymore. So even if they offer you the job, are you going to take it? And I was like, do you know what? I don't think I will. So even if they offered me the job to stay on, I would have just walked. I would have just walked at that stage. So it was sad. It was a very sad ending, and but I wanted to do this video because it wasn't all bad. Like there were certain times there where I was sweaty and tired, and I was on the bus going home from work, and I would just feel elated. I'd feel like I can't wait to get back in there tomorrow, you know. And that's with a really bad manager too. So, you know, it is what it is, and I'm really enjoying painting and modeling at the moment. It's getting really, really cool. Rediscovering my love for everything. A lot of the stuff that I've got is that I haven't been doing for other people. A lot of stuff that I've got is from the store. That's stuff that I bought when I was in manager at the store and I haven't touched, or I built it and undercoated it and haven't touched it since. And it's been sitting there because I haven't been able to touch it. I've just been, you know, I didn't even want to look at it. And only recently have I started getting back into it and actually, you know, building and painting and doing. And since coronavirus, you know, I've got more time on my hands, so I do that, and it's really, really good. So, wow, I've talked for 35 minutes. Okay, I guess that's it. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it. So there's a few more stories, anecdotes for you, you know, of memories that I have of being there, of, you know, being at Games Workshop. It's a weird old place. It's a weird old place. And I'll speak to you next time.